Hello again, it's Kathy. And I'm using these cards again, Magical Heart Healing cards, created by Anna in Wonderland. And the card I pulled is True Love's Kiss. A dark night of the soul is coming to an end, and a new day is dawning. The battles you have fought have made you strong and courageous. In the midst of all chaos, you have learned to keep your heart open like a beautiful blossom that never ceases to see the light. The magic within you has attracted many beings who adore you, and True Love's Kiss is bringing you back to life at last. Magic prayer, I let true love set me free. That's beautiful. Okay, so Divine Principle, we're still on Restoration, Abraham's course, Abraham's offering of Isaac. After Abraham failed in the symbolic offering, God commanded him to sacrifice his only son Isaac as a burnt offering. In this way, God began a new dispensation for the purpose of restoring through indemnity Abraham's failure. Why then did God work with Abraham again when he had him offer Isaac? We can advance 3 reasons. First, the number 3 represents completion. God's principle requires that when the providence to lay the foundation for the Messiah takes place for the 3rd time, it must be brought to completion. Therefore, God's providence to lay the foundation for the Messiah, which began in Adam's family as the first dispensation and continued in Noah's family as the second dispensation, had to conclude in Abraham's family, which was the third dispensation. Second, as was explained earlier, when Abraham was making his sacrifice, he was in the position of Adam. Satan had attacked both Adam and his son Cain, defiling the family over the course of 2 generations. Hence, according to the principle of restoration through indemnity, God could work to take back Abraham and his son Isaac over the course of 2 generations. Third, when Abraham was called by God, he stood on the merit of both Abel, who succeeded to the symbolic offering at the formation stage, and Noah, who succeeded in the symbolic offering at the growth stage. Upon this foundation, Abraham was to make the symbolic offering at the completion stage. Accordingly, even though Abraham failed, God could raise him up and give him another chance to make an offering based on the accumulated merit of Abel's and Noah's faithful hearts. How did Abraham offer Isaac? When they came to the place of which God had told him, this is Genesis 22, 9 through 12. Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. Then Abraham put forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. He said, Do not lay your hand on the lad, or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Abraham's faith was absolute. In obedience to God's command, he was about to kill Isaac, his only son, intending to offer him as a burnt offering. God intervened at that moment and told Abraham not to kill the boy. Abraham's zeal to do God's will and his resolute actions carried out with absolute faith, obedience, and loyalty lifted him up to the position of already having killed Isaac. Therefore, he completely separated Satan from Isaac. Because Abraham succeeded in his offering of Isaac, the providence of restoration in Abraham's family could be carried on by Isaac. Isaac's position and his symbolic offering in the sight of God. When Abraham was prepared to slay his son, even the son of the promise, he demonstrated utmost loyalty to heaven. This act of faith was tantamount to Abraham killing himself, a self which had been defiled by Satan due to his earlier failure in the symbolic offering. Accordingly, when God saved Isaac from death, Abraham was also resurrected to life, now loosed from all the ties with which Satan had bound him. when his symbolic offering was defiled. Furthermore, Abraham and Isaac attained inseparable oneness in their fidelity to God's will. In making the offering, Isaac and Abraham underwent a process of death and resurrection. As a result, two things were accomplished. First, Abraham succeeded in the separation of Satan, who had invaded him because of his mistake in the symbolic offering. He restored through indemnity the position he had occupied before he had made the mistake, and transferred his providential mission to Isaac from this restored position. Second, by faithfully obeying God's will, Isaac inherited the divine mission from Abraham and demonstrated the faith which qualified him to make the symbolic offering. After the divine mission had passed from Abraham to Isaac, Abraham offered the ram provided by God as the substitute for Isaac. In fact, this was the symbolic offering by which Isaac restored the foundation of faith. Isaac, having inherited Abraham's mission, made the symbolic offering and restored through indemnity the foundation of faith. Okay, I'll close for now, and thank you for listening.